Hello everyone, welcome to the NHVR portal webinar for release 7.7.0. The release will be going out today, 19th of August 2020 at 4 p.m. We're broadcasting to you from our home offices. We'll go through a quick overview of the agenda, talk a little bit about what the content of the webinar is, look at the new releases, look at the roadmap, and then close out with some information about the next webinar and contact details if you have any further follow-up questions. The panel members, we've got John Barry, Product Manager. From the NHVR Digital team, we have Gillian McGee, who's the Experience Lead, and I'm Stephen Ryan, the Product Analyst. The format is we'll go through the slides and new feature demonstrations. Then we've got an email address there, digital@nhvr.gov.au, that you can come back to us with any questions. And also this video will be uploaded to our Portal Help Centre later today. So jump into the features. I'll pass over to John Barry, who's the product manager for the portal, to go through the first few features that we've got coming out in today's release.
Thanks, Steve. All right, so we've got a few features covering both access, accreditation and vehicle standards this month. The first one is for access. So back in June, there were some changes made for Class 1 oversize overmass loads, where depending on the dimensions, there is a compliance requirement resumed for police-wide load escort arrangements. Now, what that's meant is that operators have needed to organise those or that police escort with Transport Main Roads. What we're doing to improve the efficiency of that is we'll be automatically triggering a consent request to Transport Main Roads, even if the roads requested in Queensland don't include state roads. And that will notify TMR to organise that police escort, so making that process a lot more efficient. What I'll do for the demo is just show you what that looks like from a customer's perspective. Now, here's a MOSM application. You can see the key dimensions there. The route for this one is only on local government road there, so that's Sunshine Coast Regional Council, in this little example. When you look at the decisions generated for this particular application, you'll see that Transport Main Roads are now included on that. So that will provide the notification to TMR to organise and flag that police-wide escort, and hopefully make that whole process of complying with that requirement a lot more straightforward and streamlined. So that's the first one. That process is fully automated on the access facilitation side. Both from an operator perspective and from an access team perspective, the process should be a lot simpler come this release. The next improvement we've got is an improvement that has been released this month already. It's for accreditation, and we've had a lot of questions and requests about how to deal with the legal declaration requirements for accreditation. As some of you will know from accreditation, particularly those who are current accreditation holders, back in July we removed the email channel and moved everyone into the portal, or we still retain the mail and fax channels. But for those that have been jumping into the portal, a lot of you that are coming up for maintain in particular, the compliance audit notification was requiring that legal representative check, and it isn't actually a business rule to require that for compliance audit notifications. And what we're trying to do is make the legal declaration only required when you actually need it, and that's really particularly for established accreditations or add modules if you're an existing accreditation holder, and also remove modules. So for compliance audit notifications, I'll show you that now. The application is the same. It's obviously supplying details of the audit and the auditor you'll be using. But on the confirmation page, what you'll find is just the basic declarations. So no legal director required to tick off the box there. So that means that if you're an existing accreditation holder, you can start getting into the portal without having to set up that legal declaration part. Only if you subsequently need in the future to submit an add module or a remove module application, that will kick in then. But for any general management and maintenance of your accreditation, including adding vehicles or adding drivers, if you're in one of the fatigue modules, all of those can be executed without needing to go through that additional step, verification step. So hopefully that will make things a bit more streamlined for those operators coming into the portal from an accreditation perspective. So that change was made a couple of weeks ago. So you should be seeing that flow through, and if there is any other questions around the legal representative, then please do contact the call centre, and also the contact details to see at the end of this webinar. Okay, so the next one is around vehicle standards. So I might hand over to Steve to go through this.
Thanks, John. Yeah, the next one, it's a small change, but it's hopefully helps with the logic and the layout of the workflow. So for those of you that are putting in vehicle standards applications, when you're selecting and entering the details about the vehicles that you've added to your application, in this make and model section, it previously was ordered in manufacture date, then make, then model. So with some feedback from customers plus our vehicle standards team, we've reordered those into making them vehicle make, vehicle model and manufacture date. So hopefully that just makes things a little bit simpler. That will also appear in confirmation screen. So when you get to the end of your application process and the information is presented back to you for you to be able to confirm the information that you've entered, those questions will appear in that same order, or those pieces of information that you've entered will be displayed as make, model and manufacture date. So it's a small change, but it's just trying to continually improve that workflow and the way that you interact with the system to make it as simple as possible. So that's a small change for the vehicle standards area. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, and the last one is starting to bring in some new feedback and support tools. I might hand over to Julie to go through this one.
Thanks, John and Steve. So we'd just like to introduce you to some of the new tools that we're implementing to improve your experience in the portal. And one of the first parts of that is a new product tour feature to replace the pop-up that lets you know that a new release has come out. And from tomorrow, you'll start to see this notification coming up with a direct link to the webinar that we're filming right now. You can go back and see it at any time, and all our users, when they open up the portal after the new release and first log in, will get this notification. And you can skip that, of course, if you don't want to do it. And that's really the first part of us, putting in a significant effort into improving your experience on the portal and making sure the help and information you need is right there in the portal where you use it every day. We're also going to be implementing a satisfaction survey to see how satisfied you are with the portal. And this is going to appear once you've completed a process. We're just doing a little demo on screen now. As you finalize a process, so make a submission, something like that, you'll work through and you'll be provided with the ability to give us some feedback about how satisfied you are. Please be totally honest with me. And once you choose one of these options, you also have a free text field to provide any other feedback that you think we need to know. I really want to start understanding what we can do to help you in the portal. That's pretty much it for me, John. I hope that explains that pretty well. Should be easy to use, but also would like to get your feedback on these new features as they come out as well. So if you find any issues or you've got any suggestions, feel free to let us know.
Right, thanks, Julie. So that survey will be appearing for accreditation, vehicle standards, and for access, but only once. So once you've completed that, you won't see that again for 3 months.
3 months, yep.
Awesome. Okay, so just a quick recap for now on the roadmap and how we're progressing in this calendar year. So you can see on the top line there that we've included a bit of the work we're doing around really improving that experience end to end. And one of the key ways that we're looking to do that is to introduce different forms of feedback systems, survey being one of those. But we're also looking at some other ways to start capturing feedback from operators and from road managers as well. And we're looking to, in the near future, kicking off next month, to start the process of looking at the external help centre and really taking some of that feedback about that as well, and how we can improve that and make that more useful. With that little pop-up that we just saw is a part of the tool that will help us to provide more contextual feedback and support when you need it. So watch this space for more happening in that regard. We're continuing with communications engagement across the board. So we obviously tying that into one of the major initiatives, which is around performance-based standards piece of work. But we're also looking at ways we can engage and use those feedback tools to get that two-way feedback happening and feed into the current maintenance program that you can see that we continue to work on for access, accreditation and vehicle standards. So continuing stream of small changes, but changes that either making the usability that bit better or making the process a little bit more efficient. And so PBS remains the major initiative for the calendar year. We've completed the alpha, so that's our prototypes and feedback sessions with PBS assessors and certifiers on the application submission channel. We've largely completed that piece for case tracking as well, and we're in the process of looking at the open data exchange, which is really about how we provide some different ways of submitting information to us, whether that be through a more sophisticated spreadsheet. I know currently for access and accreditation end users, there's the CSV upload. We're looking at something that's a bit more richer than that, provide a few more options. And the other side of it is our open APIs. So putting together some programming interfaces that third-party providers can start to look at and access. And we'll be targeting that at performance-based standards, assessors and certifiers who have systems that they'd like to be able to use and integrate more flexibly with the NHVR portal. So we're progressing through that. We're looking to we're actually kicking off the build already now for the PBS application submission channel and that case tracking, which will provide that live view of where PBS applications are at. And as we're doing that, we're also starting to look ahead at the smart forms, so the full end-to-end customer module for PBS, and beginning to progress also the developer API portal, and we'll be continuing that through to the end of this year, and then into next year we will start looking at the regulatory PBS team side of things to get that full end-to-end PBS system up and running. Right, I'll hand over to Steve to close up.
Great, thanks, John. Thanks, John and Jelly, for going through those features and also what the rest of the year holds for updates and the next developments in the portal. Some details on screen there for you if you need to get in contact with us. The webinars are held sort of roughly around sort of a bit past the middle of the month in anticipation for the Wednesday release, the third Wednesday of the month. There's some links in there and also some email addresses that you can come back to us if you have any other questions. There's also the support contact number. And from what Jilly's outlined, there'll soon be some new sort of support channels that you can come back to us on as well as those. So hopefully you'll find those useful. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to talking to you again next month. Thank you.